South Korea spent more than $200 billion to raise its birth rate. It ran for 16 years. In 2024, the birth rate hit 0.75. That's the lowest any country has ever recorded. The money went up. The births went down. Israel is just as wealthy. Its birth rate sits near 2.9, more than 3 times higher. Same income tier, opposite result. So whatever is emptying countries of children, it is not comfort. That single comparison breaks the story most people tell about this. And it points at a colder question, one a 50-year scenario model kept circling back to. As machines take over more of the work between now and 2075, the surplus they produce has to land somewhere. Who ends up owning it decides almost everything downstream. The panic borrows its shape from one experiment. In 1968, John Calhoun built an enclosure at the National Institute of Mental Health. He called it Universe 25. Unlimited food, no predators, every need met. The mouse population boomed, stopped breeding, and collapsed to zero. For 50 years, that's been recited as proof that comfort kills a species, and that rich nations are next. The leap is where it breaks. Rome's old families didn't vanish into an empty city. They were absorbed and replaced by new arrivals. The population continued. The owners changed. And the mice can't explain rich countries anyway, because rich countries differ wildly from each other. The split tracks housing costs, the price of women's time, childcare versus cash, and the collapse of early marriage, not wealth. The mechanism underneath runs on arithmetic, not on attitudes. The report's strongest finding is a loop, and the loop feeds itself. A shrinking working-age share makes older voters a larger, more reliable bloc. Budgets bend toward pensions and healthcare, away from housing and childcare. Children get more expensive, fewer arrive. The working-age share shrinks again, round and round. Here's the cruelty of it. The countries most frightened by low birth rates are the ones where the aging electorate is least able to vote for the cure. Because the cure is a transfer of money from the old to the young. The people who'd have to approve it are the ones it takes from. Hungary tried to spend straight through the trap. Family policy budgets near 5 to 6% of GDP, among the most aggressive ever attempted. Births rose for a few years, then they slid back down. Demographers call it a tempo effect. Couples who were going to have kids had them a little sooner. That flatters the numbers for a while, then reverses. The actual level barely moved. So the model throws out the comfort axis and rebuilds on 2 questions that move independently. 1. Is the machine-made surplus owned by a few platforms or spread widely? 2. Does that abundance hold, or is it brittle? Cross them and 4 futures fall out. Platform manorialism. Real abundance owned by a few. Commonwealth. Abundance owned widely. Fortress scarcity. Abundance fails, the owners wall off what's left. Lifeboat localism. Abundance fails, but control already went local. In the branch the model calls the default, the surplus was real and almost entirely owned. A basic income kept everyone else fed and quiet. Childbearing split clean in 2, an owning class that could afford it and a serviced majority that mostly couldn't. When that same concentrated system hit a shock and the abundance proved brittle, it hardened into fortress scarcity. The owners walled off what remained. Pro-natalism turned coercive. The people outside the wall became expendable. Commonwealth. Abundance that held and was owned widely was the one good outcome. It was also the only one that didn't happen on its own. Every other future is a default you drift into. This one has to be built against the current. The model is specific about the current. Concentrated capital builds concentrated infrastructure. A handful of chip fabs, a few grids, single points that fail together. Taiwan's TSMC makes most of the world's advanced chips. That concentration quietly manufactures the brittleness that tips a durable system into a broken one. Wire all of it together, and most of the famous fixes barely move the outcome. Longevity drugs, immigration, cultural campaigns, they change how fast the system moves, not where it lands. Two things change the destination: widen who owns the machines, while ownership is still up for grabs, and break the old versus young veto with one move, not a yearly fight. Which is why Korea's $200 billion didn't work. It was aimed at the wrong variable. You cannot pay your way past a broken housing market, a thin care system, and an electorate whose budget points the other way. The money treated a system problem as a willingness problem. Demography isn't the cause here. It's the readout. It sits downstream of three things that move as one. Who owns the machines, whether the abundance is solid, and whether an aging society lets resources reach the young before the window to do it closes. The report leaves a dashboard. Watch the share of budgets going to the old versus the young. Watch whether any country actually ships a broad capital stake, a citizen wealth fund, or a stake at birth, instead of another cash bonus. Watch whether chips and energy stay bottlenecked in a few places. For 50 years, the mouse experiment got recited as a warning that comfort makes a species soft. Run the analysis properly, and the warning flips. The danger was never that abundance would make people stop wanting children. It's that the abundance is about to be owned by very few. And the people who'd have to share it are aging into a majority that, rationally, won't vote to. Comfort isn't the trap. Ownership is. So the question worth sitting with isn't whether your country can raise its birth rate, it's whether it can still pass a transfer from old to young, while it has the votes to. Most can't anymore. A few just barely still can.